I'm sitting in the WordPress Happiness Bar with WordPress happiness engineer Evan Solomon right now. How are you doing today, Evan?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, so I know a fair amount about WordPress and WordPress.com, but why don't you help give my audience a little better idea of what the difference is?
Sure. So WordPress itself is open source, free software that anyone can download, use, modify, do whatever you want with. So I work for a company called Automattic, and we run a service called WordPress.com, which is basically a hosted version for that. So if you want to have a WordPress site, but you don't want to deal with getting a web server or a host or configuring databases or any of that, you can come to us, sign up for an account, and we'll do it for you.
Or doing the updates yourself, or even understanding what a domain is versus all that other stuff. You get to just pick it and go.
Exactly. And in fact, we're usually running a more up-to-date version of WordPress core on WordPress.com than you would go download on the site. We run what's called Trunk usually, which is kind of the development bleeding edge version.
So now I've heard of other companies doing that where it's sort of like, hey, look, I'm beta testing on all these people who are right there. I can try it out on a large audience, and then you know it's good, right?
Exactly. That's one of WordPress.com's biggest functions is sort of beta testing the future of WordPress. So we build new features and we roll it out to our site first where we can sort of control it. But we have so many users that it's a really good ground to figure out if it works.
Now, the one limitation of doing WordPress.com is the number of themes, but last time I looked, there were just a trunk load of themes.
Yeah, we're launching a ton. We're doing about 1 or 2 a week maybe. And then there's also great functionality called child themes, which you may or may not know about. Child themes are basically ways to build new themes as children of other themes using CSS. And you can do some really cool customizations. A lot of the new themes that are being built for WordPress are really well designed to build child themes of in such a way that you wouldn't even recognize that it's the original theme.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Now, you mentioned you work for Automattic. Now, what does Automattic make other than WordPress.com?
So we make a few other products, all kind of built around WordPress and publishing. The one that's probably known best is Akismet, which is a spam prevention.
I love Akismet. I haven't checked it lately, but I want to say a couple million or 20 million spams have been caught by Akismet. I just you get this plugin, you plug it in, and then you forget about spam almost entirely.
That's basically the point. Yeah, Akismet has blocked overall over 25 billion spams on the web.
Gosh. Now, lately it's been letting some Russian stuff through, but what I notice is it's sort of like it learns. Mm-hmm. Like I'll get 4 or 5 Russian ones in a row, and then all of a sudden those are gone.
Exactly. Yeah. So marking stuff as spam is a good way to help us fix that. But yeah, it does learn over time. And that's kind of the whole point. Is that spammers change, and then we change to block them.
Why do you let us have that for free?
So we give it for free to kind of personal users, but corporations or something like that uses Akismet, we actually charge for.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, being a personal user myself. So what else is Automattic working on?
So we have a plugin called Vaultpress that does real-time backups and security for WordPress, self-hosted WordPress users. We have a couple other plugins and tools built around publishing, and WordPress is obviously our sort of flagship.
So what's coming up new in the WordPress core, the open source WordPress?
All right, so WordPress 3.3 is in beta, I think, or maybe release candidate right now. A couple of cool features. The admin menu on the left when you're in your WP admin is going to change from being like a fold-out collapsible menu to actually being flyout. So you mouse over and you'll get a little flyout menu. So it's actually really fast to navigate around. You don't end up with like 100 items open.
That sounds small, but I love it when there's a flyout. And it's just one fewer click means, carpal tunnel syndrome is delayed just a little bit longer. Every one of those little clicks, it actually does matter.
Yeah, and especially if you have like a lot of plugins that create their own menus, you can end up scrolling for a couple thousand pixels to get to the bottom. So this puts it's all viewable in one screen. We're working on the uploader. That's one of the big features. So you'll be able to do like drag and drop HTML5 uploading for media and images, things like that. That's pretty cool. And then we have a new system that we're calling Pointers, which sort of lets you. It's like a new UI for kind of calling out and explaining stuff in the UI. So it's very new. We're not using it too much yet, but it's going to be rolled into some future stuff and available to plugins. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, that all sounds fantastic. I got to say, I'm a big fan of open source, but a lot of times it's kind of dodgy, crappy looking, kind of like it looks third world country kind of drawings and stuff. But WordPress is so professional, so smooth. I mean, it looks like something I paid for. I can't say enough good stuff about WordPress.
Thank you. That's what we like to hear. We make it for ourselves largely, which is different than a lot of open source projects. I think Firefox is another good example of an open source project that's gone pretty well, where I think the developers made it largely for themselves. So I think, since most of us use it every single day, hopefully we try to keep it looking as good and as polished as we can.
I think the products that scratch your own itch are the ones that really do tend to make great. So I thank you very much, and I see why you're a happiness engineer. I'm sure nobody comes in and goes, WordPress, that stuff's horrible. Everybody's happy here.
Most people seem to like it. Happiness engineer is actually what we call our customer support team. They're called our happiness engineers, and then when we go to conferences like this, we're all sort of happiness engineers for a day.
All right. Thank you very much, Evan.
Thanks.